Whether Charlie Sheen is your guilty pleasure or you're an innovator that realizes inspiration comes from unexpected places, welcome to what is going to be a fun and useful look at economic development through the blurry vision of Charlie Sheen. Our speaker is a well-recognized thought leader in economic development who has spoken around the world and is author of 2 books about economic development. His company's online economic development strategies are implemented in 43 states and serve over 13,000 cities, including the majority of the 100 largest cities in the United States. His work has been featured in the Wall Street Journal, Bloomberg Businessweek, Forbes, Fortune, and the New York Times. Please help me and welcome Anatoly Ubalde, CEO and co-founder of GIS Planning and Zoom Prospector.
Thank you. Well, if you've come for a talk on tax increment financing, you've come to the wrong place. So let me just start with what this is and what it is not. It is not about defending or embracing the behavior of Charlie Sheen. Instead, what it is about learning lessons from what's happened and how we can use this successfully in economic development. Also, we thought it would be a lot of fun. So let's get started with the Charlie Sheen Guide to Winning in Economic Development. So the first lesson is be yourself. Whether you love him or hate him, Charlie Sheen is unapologetically himself. He bangs 7-gram rocks. He sleeps with porn stars. He doesn't listen to his family. He criticizes his own profession. He responds and says whatever he wants. He doesn't have a PR handler telling him exactly what marketing people say are the right thing to say. He's in many ways the opposite of old Hollywood. He's just saying what he likes to say, whether people like it or not. And some people do like it and others don't. Now, for economic developers, every business should be skeptical of any economic developer that's telling them, you won't have any problems. We have everything. This is a perfect community for your business. That's a dead giveaway that what the economic developer is doing is they're telling the business what they think the business wants to hear, which may not necessarily be the truth. If I'm a business and I'm working with an economic developer, I in fact will have a higher level of trust if they're honest with me, if they're telling me what is going to happen, because every business, every project has challenges. By being real, by being honest about that, you develop a relationship of trust. There's no community that's all rainbows and happiness. Now, Charlie Sheen isn't saying that he's not the kind of guy you want to bring home to your parents, but that's not what he's saying. What he's saying is he doesn't care what your parents think. He's just going to be who he is. And he's completely open and transparent about that. So what if economic developers did something like that? What if we publicly and loudly said, we're a terrible place for biotechnology, but we're a great place for food processing? Not just a little great or a little unique, we're super special. It's like we have tiger blood for food processing. We're an army of food processing assassins. Wouldn't that be like a violent torpedo of truth that businesses weren't used to hearing? Wouldn't that make you stand out in a sea of economic developers that are all saying the same thing from the script of what economic developers are supposed to say? So the second lesson is embrace the catchphrase. I'm pretty skeptical about the use of slogans for economic development organizations. Oftentimes, they usually don't say anything, or they're so specific that they really narrowly define your economic development organization into less than you can actually be. Lots of consultants will tell you that you should hire them to create a slogan, but most of these are ineffective. Now, Charlie Sheen is quoted all the time, but it's not for one slogan. What he's done is he's mastered the catchphrase. He has a prolific way of spewing out not just one, but multiple catchphrases. The media and the public love them because they're so compelling. And also, they're worth repeating. My big, beautiful warlock brain. I'm on a drug. It's called Charlie Sheen. I got tiger blood, man. Last night was a shameful train wreck filled with blind, cuddly puppies. I don't even understand what some of these things mean, but they're all exciting, and he owns them. When you think about Tiger Blood, you don't think about a safari, you think about Charlie Sheen. And couldn't economic developers do this? And wouldn't it be way more interesting than saying, in the heart of everything, or insert your name, as many economic development organizations do, we mean business. That's boring. I mean, really boring. What if you said entrepreneurs in our community are so committed to growing their business, it's like they have Adonis DNA? Or how about Joe Smith, the CEO of Acme Widgets on the west side of town, has a vision to grow his business so big, it's like he has a warlock brain. You can make up whatever you want. It isn't about the slogan on your business card. Your slogan's probably as unique as water in the ocean. You see, I did it. I just made a catchphrase. Water in the ocean. Google it. Nobody's ever said that before me, I don't think. But I digress. It isn't about the slogan on your business card. It's about a series of catchphrases that can be easily understood, or perhaps not understood, but are so memorable that it gets people talking about your community or your organization or the businesses or the industries that are thriving in your community. So the third lesson is to build your tribe. The old saying is that people buy from people they like, know, and trust, which is good and useful. But that saying doesn't say that everybody has to like you to buy from you, or that's what it takes to be successful. Even if you're Walmart or you're Toyota, you don't need everybody to buy from you. This isn't a high school popularity contest. This is economic development. So what you need are the businesses and the people who are the right folks that you need to be successful and matter for your success. I imagine that there are hundreds of thousands, maybe millions of people who don't like Charlie Sheen. And they aren't part of his tribe. The tribe that he's building are the people that do like him. There may be less people that like him than there are the people who don't like him, but that doesn't matter. The point is that he has enough people that like him that he can be successful. And in his case, he broke the Guinness World Record for the fastest growth to 1 million Twitter followers. There are 74,000 people who want to be his intern. Economic development organizations also don't need to be all things to all entrepreneurs. Let's take, for example, the city of Seattle, where I used to live. If they were doing a talent attraction campaign to bring college graduates to work in businesses in their area, they probably shouldn't target people who have year-round tans. Seattle rains all the time. The rain in Spain falls mainly in Seattle. Instead, they should focus on building a tribe of people who like great outdoor activities and evergreen environments. What you have to do is you have to build your tribe, not somebody else's, and it's okay if people don't like you. What you need are the right people to join your tribe. The fourth lesson is you can get away with a lot if you deliver. Now, Charlie Sheen's probably not the easiest employee to have, and if he came in to interview for a job at your organization, maybe you'd kick him right out the door. However, for acting, he's been very successful. He's brought in the ratings, and he is the highest paid actor on television, making nearly $2 million an episode. Even the reruns on his show get higher ratings than some of the other programs. So if you do something well enough, people will let you get away with a lot. Maybe you go to work each day as an economic developer trying to get results in ineffective ways because you do the work the way you think your boss, mayors, investors, or board of directors want you to do that. Perhaps you perform economic development the ways that they teach you to do it, basic economic development courses. Or maybe you implement programs that so-called good economic developers do. Have you ever come into the office and thought, well, this is not what I should be doing with my time. If we really want economic development results, we should be doing something really different. If so, think about the results and what you can do to deliver the results. Not what you've been told is the way to get them. maybe you're made from a different mold than other economic developers, and maybe what you have is Adonis DNA. You may be able to get away with a lot if you deliver, but if you criticize your boss, I think you're going to have problems, and this is a lesson of what Charlie Sheen shouldn't have done. And this is especially the case if you're going to be criticizing your boss on CNN, 2020, The Today Show, and Good Morning America. Your boss may give you a lot of latitude, but probably not if you criticize them publicly. I was, just this week, I was talking with a friend of mine whose roommate works at a tech company. And it's a startup, and anybody who's worked at a startup knows that you have to wear many hats in a startup. I'm the CEO of my company, and I've taken out the trash, and I don't have any problem doing that. But what she did was she was unhappy because she had to put together her own computer and pick up lunch for her coworkers one day, and she blogged about that, how mistreated she felt. And she password protected the blog, but she actually gave the password to one of her colleagues who gave it to the CEO. And she was fired immediately. So I don't want you to think it's wrong to disagree with your boss. Absolutely, that's not the case. But this is a person who has control over a bit of your professional situation and livelihood. So if you're going to criticize them or critique them, this might be a good place to do it. It would be somewhere that's private or one-on-one with them. So next lesson is to understand that people pay more attention to things that are unique, weird, and memorable than to those that are common, safe, and boring. All across the country, economic developers are doing common, safe, boring, and ineffective things that make them blend in with all of the other economic development organizations that are out there. Some think that they're being unique because they hired some equally common consulting firm that said they'll create some unique new branding / entrepreneurship / cluster / tech-led program that actually everybody else is doing. And that's exactly why your economic development organization won't stand out. People tune in and follow Charlie Sheen because they don't know what he's going to do or say, but it's going to be interesting. Now, I'm not recommending that your economic development organization rent a hotel, trash the place, and lock your friend in a closet. Instead, ask yourself what you could do that would really be unique, unpredictable, and get the attention of your target industries. And then consider in ways that doing so will get them to make an investment in your community. Last year, British Columbia brought an urban zip line to San Francisco's downtown. As you can see from the picture, people were whirling by at high speeds with the bay and skyscrapers. Seeing people fly by through the air outside of your office building is unique and unexpected. It not only got the people in the area's attention, but it got the media's too. The point of the stunt was to get people thinking about taking a vacation in British Columbia, but it could have just as easily been about moving to work in a city that has these type of outdoor activities. How can your economic development organization do things that really make you stand out from everybody else? What do you do that businesses actually care about enough to keep following what you're doing? The more unique you are, the more likely they'll keep listening. As an example, let's compare McDonald's and Old Spice. Now, McDonald's is the biggest fast food company in the world. Everybody knows who they are. Old Spice has a product that you probably don't even want to see. But you compare the super multinational McDonald's, they have less Twitter followers than Old Spice. So let's take a look at the types of tweets they send out, and which is more unique and which is more predictable. This is McDonald's. To be world famous fries, our potatoes must meet the cut on solid, shape, sugars, and size. This is Old Spice. I heard of your victorious exploits on the Starship Confidence, bound for the planet's significant other, seeking the amulet of many lip kisses. Who would you want to give permission to take your time and attention? Why do economic development organizations put people to sleep? Why is our communication so boring? There's a reason why this talk is called the Charlie Sheen Guide to Winning in Economic Development, where winning has a hashtag. And it's because, Charlie Sheen, he's TV popular, but he's internet mega famous. And it's the internet that's really provided him the opportunity to amplify all of his messages and enable other people to share his ideas with everyone they know. You know, he has over 3 million followers on Twitter, and that's more followers than the New York Times or Time magazine. It really wouldn't have been possible to have this type of viral marketing and communications he has had in a pre-internet world. It wouldn't be possible to engage as many businesses, entrepreneurs, and customers for your organization without the internet. Today, if you aren't aggressively using the best tools and platforms on the internet to foster economic development, you're trying to cross a river in a canoe with no oars. Site selection's happening online. We've seen rapid adoption of ArcGIS site selection assistance technology as a response because it works. Social media is exploding, and the economic developers that are learning how to master it now, they don't even have competition from the economic developers that are sitting on the sidelines waiting to decide if they should use social media. Your organization's maximum opportunity for projects, investments, and attention will not always be constant. Sometimes will be better than others. The variation could be in the cycle of days, weeks, months, or even years. Charlie Sheen wasn't always as popular as he is right now, nor was he as well paid at all times during his career. After performing in Platoon, he went on to star in Hot Shots Part 2, or perhaps he missed Sheen in the 2007 film Food Fight. But more recently, he's the highest paid actor in TV, making about $2 million per episode. If you look at what happened in just the latest media frenzy over his interviews, you'll see that he said some far-out comments, after which his popularity fell. As critics said, it was the biggest implosion of celebrity ever. But within days of his consistent interviews of saying even more wild comments, his popularity shot through the roof, and he had grown a tribe of followers and supporters. Ironically, he was incredibly consistent through that whole time. He said wild things on mainstream media and used social media to amplify his message. It was acceptance of his message that changed, not the message itself. This is a slightly counterintuitive message because the lesson is, if at first you don't succeed, it doesn't mean you won't. When Twitter first launched, many people thought it was idiotic. They didn't get it, or why, from their perspective, you would talk to no one in particular for 140 characters or less. Tech folks and early adopters didn't feel the same way, and they loved it. Mainstream pundits kept making fun of it, which gave it more publicity, which caused more people to try it. But the mainstream thought it was a joke until it wasn't. Now it's being used in earthquake emergencies, overthrowing dictatorships, communicating to customers, and telling your friends about your stream of consciousness. Twitter rode the cycle of changing attitudes. Communities operate in similar cycles of opportunity. As an example, I'll use a city which we can all objectively recognize has had terrible things happen to it, and including destruction, bad publicity, and massive job loss. Just to prove how seared it is into your memory, I don't even need to tell you what this community is. As you can see from the image, I don't have to say the name, it's New Orleans. Hurricane Katrina exposed a lot of the poverty and inequity in the city. It also killed a lot of people and displaced hundreds of thousands of residents. It destroyed a lot of jobs. It was really a low point for New Orleans in the cycle because it included a lot of bad media attention and bad news over and over and over. But now what's happening is New Orleans is coming back to life. And it's a result of the new residents, the old residents, the businesses, and economic development leaders. And that's the sort of story that New Orleans is telling today, and now people are really listening to. New Orleans has the opportunity in the cycle, and it's a classic story. It seems to be in people's nature. They love the story of someone getting torn down and then coming back up. They love people who are losers who become winners. And we all love a comeback because, it's life-affirming. So wherever your community is on the opportunity cycle, engage in a way that gives you the best opportunity to get yourself on the up cycle. Capitalize on sharing how you're overcoming obstacles in your community, and people will root for you. So the next lesson is that not all moments are equal, and they don't all provide the same opportunity. To promote your community is a great location for business investment to companies who are starting up, expanding, or relocating. Don't discount the power of luck and good timing. As the saying goes, it's better to be lucky than good, but it's even better if you're good and you're lucky. So you kind of really need to ask yourself, what is going to be your community's unique moment to grow your economy? Maybe you don't even know, and that's fine. Sometimes opportunity finds you. But you better be ready to walk through that door when opportunity knocks. When the camera started rolling, Charlie Sheen used Twitter, Ustream, YouTube, and more media interviews to get his story out and grow his tribe. When the spotlight's on you, what are you going to do to take advantage of your opportunity to shine? So the final lesson is the catchphrase that Charlie Sheen keeps repeating over and over, which is, be a winner. You can say many things about Charlie Sheen, but it's hard to deny that in the way that he measures success, he's a winner. He's super rich, he lives with 2 goddesses, parties how he wants, has a public listening to whatever he says, and is liberated to say whatever he believes. That may not be your definition of success or being a winner, but that's not really the point. The point is, what would winning be to you? And then how are you going to be a winner? And then how is your winning going to help your community to grow its economy? If you know what your definition of winning is, you can get to work to realize your goals. So go be a winner. Thank you. Thank you all. I appreciate it. Do we have time for questions? Okay, we have time for a few questions. So you can either ask from the audience, or you can tweet your questions to me at Zoom Prospector. Okay, so we'll take some questions from the audience. Yes, you.
How can I become an economic development celebrity?
That's funny. Well, I guess that's really an appropriate question considering our topic. And there are some rock star celebrities in economic development. Some of them are writers like Richard Florida, or local economic developers like Chris Gibbons in Littleton, or private sector innovators like Ted Levine. Well, in all of these cases, in my professional experience, there are 2 important ingredients to being an economic development celebrity. First, you have to be okay with people not liking you. And second, you have to do things differently. And really, if you think about it, both of these things are interrelated, because if you innovate and challenge the status quo, people are going to hate you for changing the industry that they were comfortable with. Thank you very much. Florida said, it's the creative people, not the businesses. Gibbons is saying, grow, don't attract. And Levine said, stop advertising and start promoting. Some people didn't like these messages, but others make their recommendations the focus of their economic development activities. I'll explain this through my own experiences. Today, having a GIS site selection system on your website is a must-have, and it's nearly pervasive across the country. GIS planning serves over 13,000 cities and the majority of the 100 biggest cities in the USA. That's great for us, and our technology has become an industry standard, but it wasn't always this way. When we launched our first website in the late 90s, we were greeted with love and ridicule because what we offered was something innovative which went against the grain of what was traditional. Traditionalists didn't like us, and innovators did. People who had a stake in keeping things business as usual didn't like what we or our technology represented. Back then, we didn't know we'd be as successful as we are today by bringing change to the profession. I'm sure, as it always is at the beginning, none of the people I mentioned knew that their ideas would change the profession either. So if you want to be an economic development celebrity, you should be an agent of change and ready for people to hate you and to love you too. Okay, next question. Yes?
Charlie Sheen is an How can I implement these ideas without being an
Wow, I've been on the road for years giving talks, and that's the first time someone has used the word in a question. What can I say? That's very profane. I mean, a profound question. The answer is yes. With Charlie Sheen, part of his appeal comes from his shock value. He's in your face and is showing an alternative way of living and thinking about the world, or at least his world. There are many ways to arrive at the same goal. Each of us is different, and I really don't recommend that you live like Charlie Sheen unless you are a warlock with Adonis DNA. However, you can still get people's attention, be contrarian, and innovate while being professional. Okay, so I'll take the next question from Twitter. Let's see. So the question is, do you think it's safe to do what you're saying in economic development? Well, I guess that is the big question, right? So the short answer to the question is no, it's not safe. But the more complicated answer is that being safe is risky. It's actually riskier than being risky. Or let's think about it a different way. If you keep doing what you're doing, you're very likely to keep getting what you're getting. Doing what you've been doing may feel safe, but it isn't, because it either isn't delivering the results you want because you want more economic growth, or it won't work in the future because the world is changing. Also, when you think of safe choices, do you think of things that made a difference? Can you tell me about the safe economic development program that really hit it out of the park? Some of you are more risk averse than others. Many of you will not put any of these ideas to work and just think that this was all just entertaining. Well, if you think that playing it safe is your plan and innovation is something someone else should do, then we aren't part of the same tribe. And that's okay, because as I mentioned earlier, you don't need everyone to like you, work with you, or follow you. You just need the people with a shared vision. The type of economic development I'm talking about is safe because it's risky. We're really hypocrites if we're asking entrepreneurs to go out and be risk takers if we aren't willing to do it ourselves. It's better to do something risky that has the opportunity of being extraordinary. At least you'll have a chance of winning. So thank you so much. I appreciate you giving me the time. Thank you. Thank you.